What? What, did you want a review of this? Fine. Hello and welcome to X and Y Gaming, where this time, instead of a room or a bathroom, you'll find me in my parents' living room because they have the huge-ass TV. And this is the Nintendo Switch that can go to the big-ass TV. Nintendo Switch is finally out. It's Nintendo's newest home console. And I should probably use the term home console a little loosely, because it's also kind of portable. And you see how easily it switches back to the Switch. How it switches back to the portable screen. For the record, this is a console, and we'll get into that. And while I am showing Zelda, this isn't a review of Zelda. It's the review of the console. But, I mean, come on, why else would you buy a Switch at this point? Snipper clips? Come on, don't kid yourself. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. So, I guess while I have it here, let's talk about some main issues. And that's that the left Joy-Con does have connectivity issues. The right Joy-Con does have an actual proper antenna in it, and I can't show it because I'm not taking it apart. Left Joy-Con's antenna is apparently soldered into the chip, or something like that. And because of that, it has a little bit less connectivity than the right one. So for the sake of argument, let's say you're sitting relatively close, say this close, to the console, in a chair. You have a seating posture like so, and then, naturally, you rest your hands and controller behind your legs, like so. You'll unfortunately notice, eventually, from time to time, a connectivity issue. Oh no! That could have been avoided if the connectivity wasn't an issue. Fucking, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? This is serious. This is 100%. Oh, fucking Nintendo seal of approval. Go slap it together. Send it on out. It's shipped yesterday. This is a fucking problem. Now, I'd like to point out, this is not me shitting on the Nintendo Switch. It's a straightforward, as far as I know how to do it, review. I love this console. It's amazing. But the fact that they did something like that blows my fucking mind. It is abhorrent. Now, I know there's a whole workaround thing that if you send in your Joy-Cons to Nintendo, they'll fix them and send them back. And that's cool and all, and I appreciate that. But what am I supposed to do? Not play the fucking game for like 2 weeks? Okay, so Joy-Con connectivity aside, how's the console? Really good. Like, holy shit. Alright, so here's an example. Here you see the TV is on HDMI 3, which is what the Switch is plugged into. I put the Switch into sleep mode. So here we go. Press the home button to get it to wake up. There you go. Hit home button. A to continue. There you go. And we're in the game. Just like that, we're in the game. We're playing. You know, we were out and about. We had it, you know, whatever. Going to a doctor's appointment, waiting in the office. And you're like, okay, time to play some Zelda. How quickly can I get back into it? Almost like that. And I say almost because you saw how long it took. Not that long. So aside from the obvious game portion of the console's actually pretty minimalistic. As you can see, it aligns the games in a 1-by-1 row. The way it works is when you change a game and then switch into another one, well, first of all, it does that. Then you select the person you want to play as, under which profile. The profile is what dictates the save file. So, for example, with Zelda, it saves in a manner akin to Skyrim. So as you explore and it auto-saves, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When you actually save yourself manually, it also treats that as if it were an auto-save, as in all the saving, auto or manual, is done accordingly the same way. And that is the 7th newest save overwrites the 7th oldest save and just moves it all down one. So basically it's one save per profile. So if you wanted to make multiple save files on Zelda, you'd have to make multiple profiles. Which is what I've done here for making myself an account, my girlfriend account, and my friend Johnny. Who is, by the way, RussellGethy89. Yeah, go tweet at him. Tell him I saw you in a shitty YouTube video. Anyway, back to the way the games are displayed. Because Snipper Clips I would just opened and closed, it is now in front of the line, putting Zelda second and the Splatoon 2 Global Test Fire third. So that's pretty much it for home console. So how does the portable version of it stack up? Let's find out. I was pushing the little nipple button, and it should slide right off, like so, and ooh, bam, nice and easy. Take the console in its dock, slide them on, 2, and again, just to show you how effortless this is, beautiful. So the Nintendo Switch as a portable console, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it certainly gives the Nintendo 3DS a run for its money. It has a really nice, sleek design. I mean, that's pretty thin. And I gotta say, it's certainly not very heavy. I mean, yeah, it has weight to it, but I'm not like dying to pick it up. I mean, it's fine. With the Joy-Con attached, it's basically like a big old Game Boy Advance, or probably more akin to a PS Vita at this point. This charging port is available at the bottom, and everything else is at the top, such as the game card slot, the headphone slot, 3.5mm head jack, that's a vent by the way, the volume keys, and the power button. So here's about the power button. If you hold it down, well rather, if you just press it, it sleeps. And because it's portable, and God forbid you actually put this thing in your pocket, if you were to hit the home button by accident, it's actually not going to start up unless you press the same button 3 times. So like A, Y, A, B, 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 X, B, A, Y, X, A, B. Okay, you get the point. So if you hit A 3 times, then it unlocks. Now, what some people apparently don't know, and I don't see how you can't know this, I don't know, I guess it's probable for Nintendo to be like, oh, here's a fucking tablet console, it plays video games, it also plugs to your TV, but it doesn't touchscreen. But it does have a touchscreen, and you can actually activate the touchscreen by touching it. And it'll still work the same way. And depending on how you touch it, in this case hit home, it'll go to the home menu. If you unlock it with the power button, it'll bring you back into the game, so you hit A to continue. And that works just fine. Alternatively, if you wanted to, you could actually bring up the home menu by hitting very carefully the Switch User Software button, which that'll bring up the home menu. Now I'm in the home menu. One of the other methods of play that is also advertised is tabletop mode. The Nintendo Switch has a little kickstand back here, and it serves to prop up the Switch on, well, a tabletop. And as you can see, it works just fine. But also, of course, if you were to get too far away from it, you wouldn't really be able to see the screen. When not hooked to the dock, it's a very handy tip to remember that if you hold down the home button, you can bring out a little side menu here. And you can adjust things like the brightness, turn the auto brightness on or off, slide it all the way up, a little bit up, a little bit up, a little bit up, midways, a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down, all the way down. You can also activate airplane mode, which, just be warned, will make it to where it no longer connects with your Joy-Con. So much for the commercial showing the dude on the airplane playing Skyrim with this in tabletop mode and his Joy-Cons in his hand. Yeah. Hey, make sure all your fucking devices are on airplane mode. Okay, cool. I guess I'll just sit here and stare at my fucking character that does nothing. So as a portable console, how does it fare? Well, with something like The Legend of Zelda, and God, are you fuck? Well, I've actually tested this out. And for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with your battery fully charged, the brightness set all the way up, and the sound on maximum with your wireless systems turned on, you'll get a little over 2 hours of playtime. However, with your brightness turned to the minimum, your sound turned on roughly half or a little bit over, and you're on airplane mode, so the Joy-Con are attached to the console, I got a little over 3 hours of play, so right around the benchmark for what Nintendo said. And given that this thing is basically a glorified tablet that runs something like this, and considering how much is going on in this game to begin with, it's actually pretty impressive. But still not that great. So if you're going to be playing somewhere and you're going to be there for a long time, definitely bring a charging cable. If you're going to be in a car, get the charging accessory. I personally have one that I use for my phone, the Google Pixel, and as it turns out, they both use Type-C USB. So it just works out for me in that end. So overall, how's the console? I really love it. If I were to give it an actual rating, I'd have to give it probably an 8 out of 10. And I say that as it's more of a 9 out of 10, but it's also $300. Although I understand why, but is it really worth $300? Well, what other home console can you actually take with you wherever you go and still play the same experience you get on the TV? None. What other portable console can give you the same home console experience? None. Before you cry out and say I'm a Nintendo fanboy and I've never even looked at a Sony PS Vita, I have owned the PS Vita. And while Gravity Rush was an amazing game on that console and easily a 9 out of 10, there's just some problems with the console. For example, I had the Call of Duty Black Ops whatever the fuck game on it, and it was clearly a watered down version of the console experience. Now I know what you might be thinking, well of course it's a watered down experience, they only had 2 shoulder buttons and you can't do R3 and L3. Okay fine, so there's less input, and you're right, there is. But there's still the issue that I couldn't do local player, offline, deathmatch with the AI. And that's what I mean by a watered down console experience. Sure, the core values of the game are there, but it's still missing something. With a Nintendo Switch console, you can take home console quality games with you anywhere you go. On the go, anytime, anywhere, any place, and whoever wants to play. Each Joy-Con acts as a separate controller in cases of 2 players, and they do have rails that you don't actually need, but do come in handy. The battery life may leave something to be desired, and as such, you can expect to see the Nintendo Switch exist alongside the 3DS for at least a good while, until there's a little bit more of a library. Now, is it worth $300? I mean, personally, yes, but only barely. The Joy-Con issues that, of course, Nintendo will correct for you, which will end up putting you out of play for about a week or 2, does help a little. The overall battery is not so bad. I've gotten a few more hours out of something like Snipper Clips while I was only playing it with my buddies while we were at a coffee shop for a while. Like, okay, and that's cool. But if you take this thing with you on a trip, again, you're gonna want to have some sort of charging cable, either one that plugs into the wall or one that'll plug into your car. As far as all the issues I've seen with people who own one, I've been relatively lucky. I don't have any dead pixels anywhere on my screen, and the overall video and audio quality of the portable version of the system is pretty good. I have started to notice a few instances where the right Joy-Con is a little bit wobbly, but for the most part it's still pretty in there and hasn't really affected gameplay any which way or the other. The whole system still feels really comfortable in my hands, and pretty solid too. So there's no real big deal there. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch is a bang-up console. And while it's not the most graphically advanced thing on the market, that's not usually what Nintendo's about. They're about the experience and, you know, the actual gameplay of a game. And that's what the Nintendo Switch does perfectly. You can play it at home with a few headaches, or on the go. And you can also play on the go either by yourself or set it up to where you and a friend can play using the tablet screen as a TV. So all in all, I'd have to give the Nintendo Switch somewhere between an 8 and a 9 out of 10. I know this may seem a little generous, but being able to take a console quality game like Zelda Breath of the Wild with me anywhere I go and lose literally nothing besides screen real estate is absolutely a godsend. This is 100% the console Nintendo needed. Now, whether or not it'll do well, I don't know. I'm not psychic. But so far, even with just Zelda and Snipper Clips, I am in love with this console. All I need now is a breakout Mario title, the Mario Kart 8. It's a shame we're not getting a dedicated Mario, but let's face it, Mario Kart 8 was pretty damn good. And hopefully we'll get some sort of Smash Brothers for the Switch as well. Either way, this has been Arthur with X and Y Gaming, where it's your reality from my perspective. Bye. Oh yeah, and one last thing to note, again, I've been relatively lucky with my console. I haven't had any of the issues that anyone else is citing, and most specifically, the whole dock scratching the screen thing. I don't know what's causing that. From what I hear, some of the docks have gotten warped in their shipping, and as such are closer. I don't know how to explain it. This piece is closer to this piece than it's supposed to be. So then when you go ahead and do this, whoops, you end up scratching the console, like on its bezel, and even sometimes its screen, from, again, what I've seen. But also, from what I've seen, in owning one, again, I haven't had any issues. So, again, I've just been really lucky. Which, in the event that something bad does happen, I'm gonna do what anyone else who owns a Nintendo Switch that has these issues should do. Send it in to Nintendo. Also a really cool tidbit, when you slide them back on, there's a switch click sound. Ha, that never gets old. Oh, here it goes, here it goes! Ah! With a Nintendo Switch console, you can take console fucking fuck.